Namaste, angels. Thank you for liking, joining, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Libra, this is your bi-weekly reading for the period of tomorrow, Monday, October 7th through Sunday, October 20th. Right off the bat, I got to tell you, guys got so much fire energy surrounding you. I don't know if it's like a bunch of Libras that'll be watching me who also have major fire in their charts, maybe moon or rising. Or if you're dealing, a lot of Libras are dealing romantically or in some other close manner with fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, but so much fire has turned up here in your reading. Just even with the cards that are pentacles, if it's not fire, first of all, it's earth. That's the other thing that I've noticed here. But even in the case of the pentacles, like it's a guy that's all covered in red, you know, he's clad in like this very expensive looking red coat. There's a lot of red here, a lot of red here, but we got a bunch of fire cards. Since I pointed out the pentacles first, you know what, I'm just going to skip around. I'm going to start with work and finance. I think this is important for me to get off. So in your position of work and finance is the Page of Cups in reverse. So the Page of Cups in reverse with relation to work is a fine card. I mean, it means you're doing well at work. Your work is being admired. You're being appreciated, but you want to be careful not to get ahead of yourself. Maybe not to get too cocky because of that, and like telling people to like giving off an air and attitude of like go fly a kite to the powers that be. You want to be careful of that. And don't be otherwise too cocky in the sense that if you're not clear on something, if you're unsure of what's happening, ask. You have an overall energy of the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is somebody who, particularly at work, really wants to help you, wants to help to further you. She's sitting here upright. She can really throw her wisdom and compassion behind you. You know, maybe you're younger than her. This may be an older woman, light-haired, and she can really help you to, further yourself at the office. So if you're unclear, ask her or ask someone likened to this. It doesn't even have to be a female, especially not a light-haired female or a fire sign directly, but there's a person at your job who is helpful, wants to be helpful. They're probably older than you or have been there longer, like they know the ropes and all that kind of stuff. They can help you to prevent you from, like, again, getting your head of yourself, stepping into some sort of mess unnecessarily. It could be Piscean energy that's providing like an illusion around you. Of course, the Page of Cups represents the signs of Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And it can be like this Neptunian, you're not sure, illusion or reality. And so you're unclear. The lines are blurred. And before you make a mistake that's unnecessary at your office, ask somebody. Even if you work for yourself, like there's professionals that you can go to. Let's say, okay, I do this. I work for myself. Nobody can help me with tarot. But if I'm unclear as to, let's say, the technological parts of it, something having to do with recording or the way the computer is supposed to work or my website or whatever, like that stuff, that's not my realm. My daughter does my website for me. And if I wanted like code written or something, I'd go to my son. He could build up a computer from scratch. My daughter's very artistic. My son is too, in different ways. I, can't draw these. My daughter painted this stuff. I couldn't do that. So, you go to somebody who is maybe more educated, more learned, or just very, just more naturally, organically talented at a particular thing, more knowledgeable, whatever, who can help you rather than, again, going off half-cocked. You want to be careful of that when there's Page of Cups energy showing up. In terms of finance, because this is the position for me, this placement that I set up, these little spreads, it's work and finance. So in terms of finance, it's a little bit different. You're going to want to be careful with your spending. Not in a way where you need to be paranoid. Please don't get paranoid, because that's like, introducing fear into a situation where it doesn't need to be. And that's like the worst that we can ever do. Like adding fear where it doesn't exist. But this is caution. This is caution, not fear. Yes. There's a saying. Oh, goodness. It's an old saying. Like if you purchase in haste, then you can repent or lament. I think it is repent, but lament may fit too. In your leisure. Basically, you buy something hastily, and later on you realizing, ooh, like maybe I shouldn't have, but now everything has slowed down. You're kind of sitting there stuck with this thing. And maybe you want to take advantage of like a Columbus Day sale or something this week. And so you're thinking about buying big ticket items. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying do your research, make sure that the purchase is, really what you're looking for and above board. You just got to be careful not to, be throwing money out there where you don't necessarily have it or where it's wasted. When the Page of Cups in reverse is showing up in your area of finances. And I jumped to that because, again, you got a few things having to do with potentially finances and work, like this Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands means other things, too. She's very much about fertility in the literal and metaphorical sense. I'm going to start jumping around now because actually when I picked her up, right behind her is the Six of Cups upright as well. All the Cups cards for me, but particularly the 3, the 6, the Page can be about children, pregnancy. So coupled with the Queen of Wands and sitting right behind her and then looking at this other stuff. And over here, your oracle cards, the overall energy for the romance oracle card is children. Your love life is being affected by children. Some of you may find yourselves pregnant this week, or maybe you have something going on with an existing child, but I'm seeing pregnancy, fertility, definitely for you here. Those of you who are looking to take advantage of that, it's a good time to do so. Also up right here, you have Major Arcana card 18, the Moon. And that means you're super intuitive right now too. Use it to your advantage in figuring out these things. Like from everything from, am I spending wisely to, how am I doing at the job? Or, what's my love life looking like? Do I have an opportunity to meet somebody? Should I get out and be more social? What's going on around me? Use it for everything. And also when you're being guided to actually take some sort of action or actions, not only should you pay attention to the intuition, but again, you're going to want to not be afraid. You're going to want to be passionate and just pursue these things that you're guided to do, even if you don't have all the information. The Moon showing up shows that you probably don't have all the information that you'd like to have. Some stuff is hidden. The universe doesn't reveal everything to us. Sometimes there are actual people involved who, maybe purposely, maybe not maliciously at all, kept something from us. So we don't have all the information, but we're guided to move when the Moon shows up, but also employing our intuition. Again, in terms of the Queen of Wands, you're going to want to very passionately pursue. And upright behind the Moon is actually also the King of Wands, who very similarly is a go-getter, a facilitator, wants to help you. He's a leader. He's knowledgeable. He can help you. He can teach you. He is probably older than you as well. These may be representing somebody's parents or representing you as a parent, again, with pregnancy or something going on with children here. The King, like the Queen, is, of course, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Up right behind that is, lastly, the Nine of Swords. So there's some sort of worry. And I actually saw this in, I think it was the love reading, the general reading for the week. Also, for the feminine, and I did think, I don't even remember if I said it or not, but I talked about the possibility of pregnancy, expanding one's family, so maybe even through marriage or something, stepkids, like I call my stepdaughter my daughter, but stepkids and things like that. Maybe even sometimes fur babies, additions to the family expanding, maybe somebody's parents moving in or something. I saw something going on with family there, and I gave a couple of possible explanations for it. I don't think I remember talking about being afraid necessarily of doing those things. I may have, because the Eight of Swords showed up. So I may have talked about being afraid to move forward with those things, but like maybe moving forward with a pregnancy, or just being afraid of the future. Like, how's your life going to be if you have a child, or again, if your parents move in, your mate's parents move in, like how are things going to change? Are you going to be able to afford it? All of these things, and just like worry that can be associated with a number of things that I think are attached to some sort of action, again, that you're being guided to take. And you just got to go for it. You just got to go for it. If you're feeling those strong, butterflies in your stomach, and, things telling you, your heart palpitations telling you to move, you're going to have to go ahead and move. It may involve something, again, if not a child, something or someone from your past. This could be a soulmate relationship with the King and Queen of Wands here. Basically the representations of the Two of Wands, which is the divine union or twin flame card of the tarot. This is like the divine masculine and feminine, the quintessential divine masculine and feminine of the tarot. So something may be going on with a relationship too that may be scary to you, maybe with somebody returning to your life. As a matter of fact, I think it was Libra that 2 weeks ago I entitled your reading Reconciliation. I said that you were mending fences with people. So things like that could be happening. Either working out the relationships, repairing them and moving forward, or coming to a resolution to the extent that we're not going to deal with each other anymore. That was happening also. I think it was Libra. So we can all double check that. And if you didn't see last week's and any of this is resonant for you, definitely it's not too late for you to check it out. Put the two of them together, get a fuller picture. Also, of course, incorporating your rising and moon signs. So this is the card that represents your energy most directly in this position. And it is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Eight of Pentacles in reverse says, as much as you may not want to, may not be in the mood to put effort towards something, to do the work, in any given area of your life, you're going to have to. So again, where it comes to your work, especially if you're finding yourself flailing or something, or confused, you're going to have to put the effort and do the work into seeking, some sort of advisement. If you're wanting to make some sort of purchase or whatever, especially a larger purchase, it's a good idea for you to put the effort into doing the research, check out the specs and all that kind of stuff. In terms of your love life, yeah, you're going to have to put the effort into your relationships. But the good news is that the Six of Pentacles upright with relation to love, if you're single, you can expect to meet somebody that's like, balanced with you. Maybe like a match, could be your sexual match, your spirit. But I think it's particularly like a spiritual match. There's alignment in your frequencies. This is somebody who is generous, who is balanced, who's done like the inner work. They've done the work too. And so they can sort of match you and you guys can grow together. If you're already partnered, you can expect like a deepening of the relationship, and maybe the two of you also growing in a more spiritual sense too, in terms of how your relationship is expanding and growing. Especially sitting here underneath Judgment, Major Arcana card Judgment upright is in the position of representing your surrounding energy. So it still can be something that affects you and not just the people around you, at your job, your friends, your family, but not as directly as this one. And Major Arcana, although it's stronger because it is Major Arcana card 20, it is Judgment. Judgment represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. And it might look like a scary card, but to me, I think it's totally awesome. It can be about abundance that is earned. And it is about abundance that is earned. It can also be about spiritual awakening, spiritual growth. So again, sitting here atop the Six of Pentacles, that's why I see, expressly showing up in the reading that there's some sort of spiritual aspect to the relationship that you have or will have soon, the person that you'll meet. It's about second chances, second times around. So something could be coming back to you. Again, a person could be coming back to you. Something could be coming up from your past. Maybe a fire sign. and or a Pisces, possibly. Major Arcana card, the moon, represents the sign of Pisces, or a water sign in general, because the Earth's moon rules the sign of Cancer. And this card has this lobster in it, and this really reminds me of Scorpio. So I'm like seeing all the water signs there. But with the King and Queen of Wands, again, it could be a fire sign also, or maybe it's a water sign. And again, it's really a spiritually based relationship. It is a divine union or a twin flame relationship. And that's why the King and Queen of Wands is showing up. And that's why you have such this, again, like these frequencies aligning, that's indicated by the Six of Pentacles showing up. And Judgment. Judgment can be definitely about spiritual awakening, spiritual expansion and growth. In addition to being about abundance that is earned, and or second time around, second chances. Doesn't have to only be second chances in love. So something else from your past can be coming up too, with the Six of Cups sitting there so closely to the overall energy, also upright with it. I didn't even put the Six of Cups back. I didn't even realize it. It's still sitting here. So yeah, the Six of Cups can be about soulmate relationships. And it can be about children, and it can be about things from our past returning. So all of those seem appropriate to you, since, again, I remember talking about that 2 weeks ago for you. And maybe that's why you're afraid. Maybe that's why the Nine of Swords also shows up, because, all of this, sometimes when abundance is coming our way, that is scary, and we can see it, that coming that close, and we can feel somebody with such intensity that their energy matches with ours so much so it's like not something we're used to feeling, and they can freak us out. I talked in one of the other readings on one of the other signs. I think it was Pisces. So maybe there's something with you again, perhaps a Libra and a Pisces. And was their overall energy the King of Swords? It might have been, or was that Scorpio? That may have been Scorpio. I think a water sign had an overall energy of the King of Swords that I said could be a Libra. Of course, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. And I think it was Pisces that I said they had cherophobia, which is like fear of joy, fear of happiness. And it's a legit thing. It's like an actual thing. I felt like they were suffering it because their cards were so beautiful. And their prior month, their cards were so beautiful, and it's like they hadn't gone for all of it. They hadn't grasped everything that was available to them. So you guys may be dealing with one of them as well. As far as your oracle guidance, speaking of fire signs, or fire element, fire energy, the overall energy for the Universal Love Oracle is Golden Memories. This can have to do with the need to let something burn, let something go. And when people get afraid because they think that I'm telling them to throw away their whole relationship and stuff, and not necessarily. This can be just about like negative emotions onto which we're holding. This week is actually on the Hebrew calendar, the Jewish calendar. Every day leading up to Yom Kippur, and including Yom Kippur, is a day of repentance. And Yom Kippur, the 9th, is a day of atonement. So it's like making up for where we've, hurt people, maybe ourselves, because judgment can be about being judgmental against other people, presumptuous against other people, but ourselves also. So maybe guilt feelings, resentment, regret, the inability to forgive, the inability or unwillingness to seek forgiveness or to seek to apologize, to atone, pride, fear, ego, like all of those things, that may be what we need to let burn. It's holding us back. And so this is a fire element. And speaking of fire element, right behind it is also upright this card, Embrace, which for me feels very Temperance, which in the tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius. So that's why I'm saying here's more fire. It looks like a couple in a very tight hug. And for some, it can represent our relationships and some, closeness and how we want to feel if we don't actually feel this way. But the way the author intended it, it actually represents one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together in a balanced and harmonious way, in a healthy way. but also upright behind that is fear. So how can we get to this sort of healing that temperance allows? It's going to be by letting go of these things. And sure enough, also behind that, it's not upright, but behind that is forgiveness. So for some, that we're like harboring these negative emotions and cords of attachment, and that's what's holding us back. But universe doesn't want us to be held back anymore. It wants to help us to move forward. So the 8 of Fire shows up as your overall energy from the Angel Tarot. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over and many things are happening at once. This can also be about messages and communication, news that you're getting, of some sort of abundance that's coming into you or someone close to you, perhaps, with Judgment again sitting here. News of someone returning to your life, or something returning to your life, something from your past coming back up, and it's a positive situation in terms of love and romance. And speaking of love and romance, also upright behind the 8 of Fire, maybe one of the areas in which the universe is working on your behalf behind the scenes is the 2 of Water. So your partnerships, a relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, which I just pointed out, right? And the positive resolution of a conflict. Amen. And also, lastly, behind that, upright, the 4 of Fire, contentment, peace and abundance, a happy home life, and the successful completion of a project. This card can be about cohabitation, commitment. So like entering commitment where there wasn't one, a deepening of commitment where one already existed, maybe a healing of a commitment of a relationship, cohabitation, new homes, new babies, marriages, like everything that makes us really happy. The 4 of Fire. And then speaking of family and children and marriages and new baby, children, again, your overall energy from the romance angels, your love life is being affected by children. And it may be with someone who's not your normal type. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Maybe they're older than you. Maybe you're a page and they're a king, a queen, as long as it's legal. Or, the people are legal adults is what I mean. Overall energy for your angel therapy cards. You're a powerful light worker. It's safe for you to be powerful. Your spiritual power brings great blessings in loving service to the divine. Also upright behind that, what I was talking about, negative cords of attachment and negative emotions that need to be cut away. Cut your cords, Libra. Ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear. Okay, that's this here. Any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships. That's that 6 of Cups. And that's going to free you from destructive patterns. Now, when you say cut cords to past relationships, that doesn't mean necessarily that you can't, again, revive this relationship if there's a second time around. You have to cut the negativity from it. You have to let go of the resentment that you're harboring against this person in order for you to be together, or, they against you. You got to release guilt feelings on both sides. Like, I regret maybe us not getting together before. Okay, that's all well and good, but let that go now, because now we're here in the present. Let's do something with the present. So that can be what cut cords is too. People get, panicky about it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot pursue a relationship, where you're interested in pursuing a relationship. That all boils down to free will choice. And your overall energy from what I call my hashtag creepy deck is wallflower. And this wallflower depicts a woman sitting here. She's sitting here in a chair next to people that are dancing. The question is, are you going to sit it out or dance? If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, as the song goes, what are you going to do? That's your free will choice. It very likely has something to do with a soulmate. I think, as we've seen already, right? Other indications of that. Further to this, from the Abundance Oracle to you, masculine, obstacles and blocks are lifted. All of your good personal work and your positive energy the shift that you've made have helped you to overcome previous obstacles, and blocks are lifted away. You'll now experience progress and forward movement with your projects. Stay centered in gratitude to ensure that your flow of abundance continues. And I think that that's what Judgment is doing here for you. It's lifting the blocks. And I think also the Queen of Wands, she's lifting blocks for you. It may be specifically, again, with relation to your past and or something going on with children or family. Feminine, abundance. Pay yourself first. Make yourself your most important financial obligation by setting aside a portion of your income every time you're paid. This loving form of self-care ensures that you'll have savings to invest in your present and your future. I think that goes really well with the need to, again, just be cautious about your finances with relation to the Page of Cups in reverse. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, the Five of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. It doesn't have to only be fear surrounding money. It can be with relation to relationships as well. When I see or I pick up the Five of Earth, I get fear of abandonment, fear of commitment, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of repeating your past mistakes and relationships. Those things you want to ask Archangel Michael to help you to cut the cords to. So, this doesn't have to be with regard to finances, the material. Like, it can, though. And this can be like, doesn't have to be actual loss either. It can just be your feelings, your fear of potential loss. Maybe because you experienced it at some other point in your life. And so you're walking around paranoid, which is not good, because that can create self-fulfilling prophecies. Our thoughts become our reality. So you can bring loss upon yourself. But I feel that this is not your current situation. So it's only here as a fear, from what I can feel. For the feminine, similarly, we've got the Two of Earth. This is about a need for balance, and maybe to make a decision with regard to something having to do with the earthly. So maybe a choice, our relationships, our work, maybe both. The need to find, or maybe all of the above, the need to find balance as it relates to work and social life. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, Jill a dull girl. You need to find time to do both. For your family life, for your social life, and for your work life. Maybe some time for yourself. You got to figure out how to manage all these things of the earthly. And a decision may be required in consideration of judgment. Judgment can be like, I have to make a judgment. I have to make a decision, or I'm awaiting one. So I think that's what's going on there with that. If not, it is connected to the Six of Pentacles and your love and relationships, again, and the need for balance, which we also saw here in this Embrace card. I said it's one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together in a balanced and harmonious way. Or you can envision your relationships with others coming together that way. So balance. From the Romance Angels to the masculine, past life relationship. You've known each other before. That's your Six of Cups. Again, somebody returning or you returning to somebody's life and maybe being fearful about it in either case. For the feminine, honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. So this is like a Six of Swords kind of card for me, especially when you look at the couple in the gondola. They're definitely in clear, calm waters, right? They're not on rough seas. So this is smooth sailing. And I think they're coming from maybe a place where maybe it was more difficult, but everything ahead is smooth sailing ahead. For some, this may also have to do with some sort of holiday, a break, maybe you're getting a day off, maybe a long weekend. Again, Columbus Day. I don't celebrate Columbus Day. But, the country does, right? It's a federal holiday in the United States of America. So some of you may be recognizing that and you have a day off or something. You're going to spend some time together, or maybe it's Yom Kippur. You're going to come together in atonement, make some apologies, seek some forgiveness on both sides. And maybe that will lead to this kind of smooth, healthy energy between the two of you. Or we also have a full moon coming up during the period of this reading on the 13th, October 13th, which will be the last celebration this year of the feast day, the monthly feast day of Our Lady of Fatima. It's celebrated monthly beginning in May, every year, May 13th, June 13th, July 13th. So October 13th is the last one. It's a 6-month celebration. What else is going on October 13th? Something else, if I remember correctly. As if that's not enough already. The full moon in Aries. Maybe that's from where all this fire is coming from for you. And Our Lady of Fatima. So that can be something else. The full moon maybe guiding you to surrender and to calm and to heal your relationships. Because again, I'm pretty sure this is the second time in a row I'm seeing that for you. And we're still on this relationship, partnership boat with dating, which is a very Two of Cups kind of card. And there's another full moon here. And now the red wine, maybe this is representing the full moon in Aries specifically, is from where your Two of Cups energy is going to come. This is like the second Two of Cups for you. Remember, there's one right here underneath the Eight of Fire. Between the Eight of Fire and the Four of Fire. So that's really pretty awesome relationship energy, actually. Pretty awesome. Hashtag creepy deck. Did I not give one to the masculine? Oh, this is the masculines. I'm sorry. This is the feminines. It's another two. There's two people in this card. Open relationship. For me, this is about this can be scary too. Open relationship. Like, oh no, not polygamy. Some people are into it. So if you are, it can be literal for you. But I otherwise tend to think that this is about living and or loving, on your own terms and out loud and however you want, and co-creating relationships and, how and with whom and where you choose, period. Wow. Okay. It's soulmate season, not just Libra season. It's soulmate season too for you guys, Libras. Another soulmate card shows up for the masculine from the Universal Love Oracle. So if you weren't sure about this person that's coming back into your life, or the person into whom's life you're interested in going back, soulmate. And earth connection. They may be an earth sign. As I think I mentioned in the beginning, I felt fire and saw fire, and I saw earth. Felt earth. Earth connection. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. This card can also be about your need to spend some time with Mother Nature, feminine. So this is more energy of surrender too. And it's about abundance for me as well, this card. Lastly, from the Angel Therapy cards to the masculine, cancel, clear, delete. This is all about the words and thoughts that you speak and think over yourself. As I was mentioning before, we have the potential to think negativity and manifest negativity into our life, or we have the potential to think positivity and manifest positivity into our life. Use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask the angels to cancel the effects of past negative thinking. And again, with this power animal has showed up in that column for the feminine in I think almost every single reading, and even like my my weekly general reading and love reading where I've used these cards. This card is showing up too. Your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. So they're really trying to make sure that we get this message that animals are speaking to us. If you're seeing crows or owls or butterflies or moths or snakes, I mean, it can really be any animal. But these are the ones that most often, at least in my observation or experience, tend to be bringing us messages and stuff. That can be what's happening. You also may have some traits of some animal, and you really need to be using them toward, your betterment and your growth. They want to help. They want to help, and they can really help. Maybe you have a really sharp mind, you know, like the wisdom of or the memory of an elephant, as they say. Use that. Or the regalia, you know, of an eagle. It's like, let that be your confidence lifter and booster. The ability to soar above bullshit. Yeah, that's like an eagle too. You guys get the idea, right? Because it's just showing up too often, and I'm sitting here staring at it like, wait a minute, you again. They definitely are trying to get us a message of paying attention to these animal spirits. So, on that note, I hope you guys found this helpful and that you have enjoyed it. I'll be back in 2 weeks for you, Libra. Be sure to watch your rising and moon sign. And with all this soulmate stuff, if you have somebody in mind already, you may want to watch their sign too, if you know what it is, and see if you got the same cards and stuff, because that happens sometimes too. Thank you again for liking, sharing, joining, and subscribing. I do appreciate it. Although I hate the fact that it has to be done, and I certainly hate asking for it. You know, that's how YouTube or society measures us these days, is by social media subs and likes and views and stuff. But at least in the area of spirituality, it's probably like the worst possible way to do it. We've had some huge names in the field of divination that have been some of the most horrible people, you know, to walk and to very sadly have had access to people's, you know, souls. Yeah. It bothers me. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a sad note. Be discerning. I'll just leave it there. Be discerning, people. And thanks again for the thumbs up and stuff. Namaste.